Hello, I am Tara from livingonadime.com, the author of the Dining on a Dime cookbook. Today we are making just caramel corn. I'm not doing the peanuts. Page 379 in our volume 1. This is like Cracker Jacks. If you guys like Cracker Jacks, that's what this is, caramel corn. It is also in our gluten-free, dairy-free cookbook also. All of our books are 35% off right now. livingonadime.com for a pre-ordering sale. They are on the boat. Woo! And hopefully they will be here in about 3 weeks or 4. We hope. So you can make this when you get your Dining on a Dime cookbook. But pre-order today and you can get it for cheaper. All right, so we're making caramel corn. Now, I make the syrup first because it has to boil for 5 minutes. And then I do the popcorn, okay? You can do it however you want. You want your popcorn pre-popped, though. Your popcorn needs to be pre-popped.
And already.
I just used microwave. I'm going to sort it while my stuff is burning.
She's going to sort.
Burning. Well, let's see if that was actually a Freudian slip or if it's actually going to happen.
When she says she's going to be sorting this, she's going to sort the holes out, or the old maids, as I call them, out of the popcorn. Because you don't want to leave those in there when you put the caramel corn on and go to bite on them and get a hole, you know.
Yes, because that would not be good to have to go to the dentist. All right. So what do you need? You need margarine. And for all you anti-margarinists, we're going to call you margarinists. It does not burn like butter. So if you insist on using butter, you go right ahead, but you're going to have to really watch it. And I'm not going to guarantee it's not going to burn. So there is a reason why God invented margarine. And
so we can make caramel corn?
That is why. So we can make caramel corn. Okay, so we're going to melt. Or I've never used this. Is this thing even on?
You didn't try it first?
No, of course not. Why would I try it?
If you think it's hot.
Oh, now a light's on. Okay.
Welcome to learning how to use kitchen utensils.
Don't touch it. The water will start bubbling.
Okay, I think it's on now. Aha! My margarine is melting. Okay, here we go. Now, I don't know if you can even see down in here.
You can.
Okay, you can't. So our margarine is in here and it's flowing down and we're working on this. So it looks like it's going to take a bit. So let me start sorting my popcorn here. Now I keep 2 bowls because when you go to put your caramel corn in, if you have one bowl and you kind of put a little bit on and then you pour your popcorn over to another and on top from another bowl, then you don't have to mix quite so hard and break your popcorn and all that. So that's why I have 2 bowls. Okay, so now if you're using bagged popcorn or microwave, it helps to start by tapping it so as many kernels get down to the bottom as possible. Okay, so start with that and then gently pour in your popcorn.
Well, I just started a bunch.
And try to leave as many kernels as possible. You're not going to leave everything. I totally get that. But okay, so that's the first sorting. Okay.
That's handy.
Now, here's the next one.
Oh, we need Buster here to eat the popcorn.
Oh, we don't have Buster to eat the popcorn. Poor Buster.
I know.
All right.
I'm going to put that in the red bowl then.
Then, well, I'm going to put it all in here first.
Oh, and then we'll sort over.
Then I'm going to sort it. Okay. So
Boy, that
then,
was good popping on.
all right, there we go. Wow, that got a lot.
Except, wait,
Now-
there's one right here. Oops, it just fell in.
Okay, so now what you want to do is you want to shake your popcorn, and then you want to take your hands and gently just kind of fluff it like that to see if you can get all the kernels to fall down because they're heavier than the popcorn. Okay.
You can also lay it on the table or the counter.
Yeah.
You know, spread it out on the table or the counter and then put it into the bowl that way.
Or a cookie sheet or however you
Yeah.
want to do it. But the main thing is you just want to make sure that you don't get as
Holes.
many holes, unpopped kernels as possible. Okay. Now I have a really big bowl that I use for this, and in the I know I unpacked it, but I don't know where I put it.
Are you sure it's just now with the popcorn bowls?
No, I'm sure I put it somewhere where I wouldn't lose it.
And you lost
Actually,
it.
for my wedding, my grandmother-in-law got me one of those great big stainless steel bowls, and I didn't think I'd use it hardly at all. And oh my goodness, they came in handy.
Yeah.
That came in handy.
You had stainless steel back then?
Yeah, we didn't just
Oh.
have clay pots,
But the
Michael.
question is, Mike, did they have fire?
Oh!
That's a low blow.
Isn't that? You see what I have to put up with, Dave?
Okay, there's
There you go.
the kernels right there. So that's what you want to get out, okay? So let me dump that in my trash. Right there. Okay, so then I'm going to put part of this back in, and then we're going to go from there. Okay, so now my margarine, is melting. And where'd my book go? Oh, all right. So then we're going to put in our brown sugar, okay, right there. And then my corn syrup. Now here's a little trick for measuring corn syrup. Spray your measuring cup like so. And then when you put your corn syrup in, it will slip right out, okay? And we got to get the package open. Ugh. Okay, so then we're pouring in our corn syrup just like so. Gotta love the invention of corn syrup.
Wait, how much do you need?
Okay, huh?
How much do you need?
A half a cup. Now, the recipe is in the description below and in our Dining on a Dime Cookbook, Volume 1, and our gluten-free, dairy-free cookbook, okay? There is the corn syrup, and then the salt right here. Just regular, good old iodized salt. Use iodized salt, guys, so you don't get thyroid issues, please. Okay, there. Now we're going to stir this, and we're going to bring it to a boil. And then we're going to let it boil for 5 minutes. But you need to watch it. So come back to me, Dave, because this is a moment.
Oh. But then we can't watch it.
Now, this has sugar in it, obviously. So you need to be careful that it doesn't burn, all right? Because if you don't sit and watch it, then it could easily burn. If you start see it turning or start smelling smoke or whatever, just take it off the heat. If you just start smelling the hint of it getting burned, take it off the heat and it's fine. But once it really gets burned, you're toast and you're just gonna have to start all over again. Okay, now I've got it all melted and we're gonna go ahead
Ooh, that's
and let this boil. We got to bring it to a boil, and then we're going to set our timer for 5 minutes. Now, I'm at low altitude now. I used to be at high altitude. High altitude, you need to cook it for about 5.5 to 6 minutes, okay? It just depends on how high your altitude is. So for candies and stuff, high altitude, you need to cook it just a little bit longer, okay? Because it takes longer for it to get heated up. I noticed since I've been here, my tea's hotter. And I have to let my tea cool down because it boils at a higher temperature now that we're low again. So I started noticing that little thing when I burned the hide off of the roof of my mouth several times. Took me a time or two to learn my lesson.
Oh, it took you a time or two to figure that out, huh?
But that's okay. So, and then look real quick, guys, what Mom and I found at Dollar Tree. Are those not so stinking cute? Oh my goodness gracious, I about died of cuteness. And he said, I think next week they're going to have the Christmas ones out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to be gone. Will you go get me all the Christmas ones if I'm gone? Okay.
No. Am I supposed to?
Yeah. I thought you loved me.
Maybe for Christmas presents.
I thought you loved me. Now, okay, Dave, timer, 5 minutes, please.
What do you mean?
We are at a boil. Now, peanuts for the Cracker Jacks. I personally like to use the salted peanuts.
Uh-huh.
And I think you should use the salted peanuts.
We just got a slight problem.
Because the world does not have enough salt. And that is the problem with why most food does not taste good now, is people don't use enough salt.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, not yet. Oh, about 10 minutes. Are you wanting some caramel corn? And so salted peanuts are what's preferred. But if you don't have salted peanuts, you can just use regular unsalted and just add a little extra salt to taste. So did you have something you wanted to say?
You could also drizzle a little chocolate on top of all this too.
So you can do any kind of combination you want for this. You can add M&Ms, you can add sprinkles, you can add white chocolate chips, you can add chocolate chips, you could add pumpkin spice for this time of year.
Candy corns.
Any kind of whatever you want. You could add you could grind up dried apples. Ooh, that would be yummy. Oh, that would be delicious. I just came up with that out of my brain.
Apples with the caramel.
You can have some
popcorn.
dried apple, caramel apple popcorn. Oh my goodness. If that isn't all in a bowl.
This would be good served with the caramel corn with hot cider to have that combination together.
Yum.
Mm-hmm.
I'm drooling.
So we had some questions about the recipe.
Questions about the recipe.
I forgot who asked, but somebody asked, what brand of margarine are you using?
What brand of margarine am I using? Whatever I can find at the store. It doesn't really matter. Margarine is margarine.
No, I mean, I think, just wondering.
But you want the sticks and not
I was going to say, you
whipped.
don't want the little whipped
No.
or the tubs. You want the sticks of margarine because the other turns out more watery.
That's because it has more water.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
you need the sticks of margarine.
In order to make it whipped and soft right out of the fridge, they add more water or milk. And that is why it's soft, so it won't work as well.
Now for here in the States, I use Imperial margarine for most of my stuff. You can use anything, but I always have better luck with Imperial, and I like the taste better for it too.
Okay, one more time for those of you who just joined us. Dining on a Dime Cookbook, page 379. We're making caramel popcorn, 35% off right now. livingonadime.com. Next question, my dear.
People were wondering about iodine and salt, but others have been sort of answered that question.
So why do you want iodine and salt? Because they started putting iodine and salt because people had thyroid issues, and the iodine helps you not have thyroid issues. And they started noticing that people using all the Himalayan salt and the sea salt and all the natural salts that don't have iodine, they're getting thyroid issues again.
There's more thyroid issues happening now
So
than
that's
before.
why you do not want to stir this while it's boiling, okay? Just so you know.
Tanya said, hello from Michigan. Just paid off my car today. I love all your money-saving tips.
Ooh,
Way to go.
Tanya
Good
just paid off her
job.
car.
Ooh, yay,
That
Tanya.
is wonderful.
Doesn't that feel good? I mean, that always
job.
feels good. Yeah.
That is great.
Mhm.
And Ruth, I'm not sure if you said something about the altitude. Ruth said, what's the difference in altitude? So I wasn't sure what that
What's the difference in altitude? So when you're over 5,000 feet, that's considered high altitude. And the higher up you go, the lower the boiling point is. So I don't remember, it's like 220 or something that water gets to boiling point at high altitude instead of 212. And so the higher up you are in altitude, you have to adjust your cooking for certain things like candies, pies and cakes, cakes and cupcakes and stuff like that. You have to add a quarter of a cup of flour and cookies. Cakes and cookies, you have to add a quarter cup of flour, and that helps with it.
Yeah.
And it has to do with the way the moisture expands at high altitude and the moisture difference. So when there's too much moisture, so at high altitude, I didn't mean to make this whole high altitude thing, but at high altitude, the moisture, there's too much and it expands too quickly at high altitude, and then your stuff falls.
Mm-hmm.
That's why. So we have, Dave says we have how many seconds?
She says, actually, sorry, I meant for your 2 locations. We're at 3,400 feet.
Oh, we're at 3,400 feet
That's what
here.
she says.
5.
We're actually at like 3,500 feet.
Yeah.
We're at 3,500 feet here. Yeah.
Yeah, we're like at 35. Okay, Dave, come back. Now, this is the moment. Don't know where my other pot holder went. Now, I'm going to see if I can get it.
Should have turned that burner off.
Okay, turn the burner off. Oh, Mother, you're so particular.
Turn the burner off and move the knife out of the way.
Okay, so then you want to, oh dear, baking soda.
How much do you need?
Let's see. Jack, I need you to quickly run down to the toilet paper room and get me some baking soda, please. Okay,
As fast
so
as you can.
Jack's going to go get me some baking soda.
Baking soda?
Yep, it's in by the toilet paper.
This is baking powder.
Cool.
And it's a big yellow box, orange box. And our vanilla. I like to have a little bit of vanilla around. If you guys want vanilla, it's in Dining on a Dime, Volume 1. This is my homemade vanilla in Volume 1. And I'm going to go ahead and put my vanilla in while we're waiting for Jack to get here with the baking soda. And get that in there.
Common Sense University said, I thought Tara said she used to have a high attitude, not altitude.
Oh, I had a high attitude also, but
Do you want me to
All
run
right.
down and see if I got mine? I think you'll find it. I can go
he
help.
should. I mean, it's right there.
Yeah, but he's a 12-year-old boy.
I know. Any of the
I'll give
male,
him a minute.
any of the male side. I know they
I
have
know.
issues with finding things, but we will
Excuse
see.
me, I look for things.
Yes.
Big yellow box like the
Yeah.
cat box?
No, like the orange, it's on the shelf.
You want me to run
No,
down?
that's
Hold
not
on.
toilet paper.
I got some downstairs.
Dave's running. Hold on. Dave will get it. Okay, so
That's
hi.
what you got Ellen's attention.
We'll wait just a moment for the boys to bring the baking soda. I'm very
Oh,
sorry
I've
for
got
the
some in
delay.
bathroom.
Huh?
Oh, you've got some
I
in
was
the
going to say,
bathroom.
I've got some right down there too.
Okay, we'll just sit here and
Ellen says- Here, you can talk about this while I go. Ellen says, a toilet paper room. You have a whole room for toilet paper.
Toilet paper room. Do we have a whole room for toilet paper? Yes, we do. Yeah, it's our emergency supply after what happened last year with all the toilet paper. I do not run out of toilet paper at all. Thank you, Dave. Woo! Good job, boys. Good job. Thank you. Okay, now we have lots of baking soda everywhere.
So we
Not
keep,
everywhere. It's still in the boxes.
she keeps her emergency supplies in there, but
Yeah.
when it started out, when we first moved in, she had all the toilet paper
Yes.
in there first.
And so we just jokingly call it the toilet paper room now. Okay, now can you see in there how that's getting all thick and
Fluffy.
fluffy? The baking soda, what are you doing?
Actually,
You're scaring me.
Because, who said it? The hot girl. My cousin is a firefighter, and I was thinking, get that towel away from the hot burner.
Hey, that's a way to get my new kitchen.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, so see how nice and fluffy that is? Can they see that, dear? See?
Yeah, oh, that's awesome looking. Woo!
Okay, so then what you do is you just take and you drizzle it over your popcorn, just like so. And now don't touch this with your bare hands.
No, it's
This
hot.
will burn the hide off of you, and don't
Literally.
make this while the kids are around either, okay?
Oh, Mom.
Don't touch it. Okay. I'm wondering if I did not have this at a boil enough. It's not acting.
Wow, lots of people were loving the toilet paper.
You know, and part two, sometimes if it doesn't harden up quite so much. Sometimes it's the humidity
Yeah.
in the air and that type of thing. So don't panic. Usually you can still eat it. And
Yeah.
you just know maybe on a real humid, rainy day, you might not want to make this type of thing. Any cooked candy like this.
We
It's
may be
effective.
just high enough and up that, I mean, even though we're not high altitude, we may be just a bit up that I probably should have done it another 30 seconds to make it harder, but that's okay. All right, then here we go. Oops, I was supposed to do 4 bags of popcorn. Oh, well. All right. Here we go.
On this one, you cannot use butter because it'll burn, right?
Right.
Right. Okay.
I mean, you can, but I'm telling you, it will probably burn. So you can take your chances if you want, but
You'd have to watch it really close. You couldn't leave
Yeah.
it. You'd have to stand right there and watch it.
okay. And then since I have extra, I'm just gonna put a little extra on. I should have done 4 bags of popcorn. I totally spaced what I was doing because that's just who I am. What can I
Should we
say?
just cook another thing of popcorn?
Well, we can, but
Oh, okay. I mean, I
Okay.
guess it'll just be extra caramely.
there. Now,
Extra delicious. Oh, up a little bit. Hey, yeah. Oh, that's too much. There you go.
does that look delicious, Dave?
Mhm.
Okay, now let this cool for just a bit. And then you are ready to eat your caramel
Why
corn.
don't you move
So,
that pan so
So-
you don't bump it?
We have more questions
about what?
about the recipe.
More questions about the recipe. Yes.
Marilyn, could you spread it on a cookie sheet and put it in the fridge to harden up?
Yes, you can. Although, if you cook it right, then it'll harden on its own. But here's the thing. If you make this and it doesn't harden, the next time you cook it, just cook it for like 30 seconds longer. When I had Dave put the timer on, I was just getting to a boil. So I probably should have waited just a minute longer, 30 seconds or so, and had it go a little bit longer. Because it should be getting hard. I mean, it's a little sticky.
Ooh.
Oh,
So lots of people are asking, when do you add the peanuts
oh,
or nuts?
so then just sprinkle the peanuts in as you're stirring it. So like put a little bit of sauce, a little bit of peanuts, a little bit of sauce, a little bit of peanuts.
Oh my goodness, that is sugary. Oh.
And
Oh my goodness.
let's see, someone else asked
Good.
another question a little bit ago. I think it was something about dark corn syrup.
Will it burn the
You
hide
can
off
use-
my hand?
Just get it off the top where it's cool. Just get a little piece.
Dark
Dark corn syrup. You can use dark or light, whichever you would like. You cannot use honey though, because it
That is
won't.
very good.
It won't cook right.
That is very yummy.
Is it
Might
delicious?
have my own little bowl of it.
Well, there you go. Don't burn yourself. All right. So once again, guys, Dining on a Dime cookbook, page 379 right there, and also in our gluten-free, dairy-free cookbook. Now, what was our title for the show, Mike? I can't remember.
Let me do this first.
Oh yeah,
it's
just
the
saying.
biggest reason most people can't save money.
The biggest reason most people can't save money. So that's what we're talking about now. But Mom wanted to say something first.
Yes, I got a card from Heidi, and I wanted to thank you, Heidi. That was the sweetest card. It really meant a lot to me. It really did. So
It
thank
was
you
very
so
nice.
much.
Very,
Yes.
very nice.
Very sweet. Cute card too. See the little birds on it?
Yes, my dear.
Somebody asked a little while ago, you must have mentioned it already,
Good.
but where are we going?
Where are we going? Why?
Did you said we're going somewhere next week?
Oh, so Mike and I, so there's going to be no shows next week.
What? No shows.
Mike and I are going to Vid Summit in LA. Please pray for us. Going from Wyoming to LA is going to be a culture shock. And we're going to hope that California doesn't fall off the face of the earth while we're there. I love you guys. If we do, it's been nice knowing you.
You're going to leave all the kids to me then.
And my money.
Oh, I
You can have all my money too, see? You can sell the house. I'll buy everybody a tiny home. and then you can just travel the world.
with four
four
kids. Oh yeah, that sounds like fun.
3 adults and 1 kid. All of you in a tiny house. I think that's great.
Oh, sorry, one other recipe question.
Oh my goodness, this stuff is so good.
Amelia asked, can you use a sugar syrup because she can't have corn syrup?
Well,
It would change the
okay,
taste.
so here's the thing. You can try it.
Half the recipe on some of these things. When you guys are not sure, make a half or a quarter of the
Yeah.
recipe.
You can try it. Now, basically corn syrup is just a sugar syrup. So in theory, you should be able to just boil sugar and water and get the same consistency. But here's the thing. People always are afraid to try this stuff, but my goodness, you'll be out, what, 50 cents worth of ingredients, dollars worth of ingredients? The sugar would be the most expensive thing. And so if you're worried about it, take the syrup after it's boiled for 5 minutes, get a cup of ice water, and put a little bit in the ice water and see if it sets up. If it sets up in the ice water, you'll see it set up right away. Then you're okay and you can pour it over your popcorn. If it doesn't work, then just eat your popcorn like it is and you're out 50 cents or $1 to try it.
Mm.
That's one thing. Actually, that's one thing we kind of need to talk about with what we're talking about today. People get so hung up or so afraid. Actually, afraid is a better word. They get so afraid of trying things.
Mm-hmm.
Like 95% of my cooking is just me trying stuff.
Yeah, we know.
Wait, what are you doing laughing over there?
That was good, wasn't it, Jack? You get it, don't you, Jack?
Why is my family laughing? But here's the thing. 90% of the time, you're out less than $2 or $3 worth of ingredients.
And like I said, you can, just try a half a recipe or a quarter of the recipe if you're unsure of anything. That's the way you learn to experiment and try things.
Yeah.
Just try the different stuff. So,
all right. Any other questions, dear?
Well, questions on different topics than the one you're going to right now. And Jeanette's wondering about your mom's house.
My mom's
How's
house.
that process going?
How's that process going?
well, it's about the same as last week. We're waiting to see what's happening with it. So we'll know a week from tomorrow.
So she's supposed to close a week from tomorrow, but when we went for the inspection, it wasn't as clean as it should have been. And so we're kind of having issues with the cleanliness of it and the cleanliness of the oven. And so the problem is, when you sell a house, it should be clean. You should look at it the same as, would I get my deposit back from my landlord? That's how you need to look at it when you sell a house. Would I get my deposit back from a landlord? But a lot of people don't look at it that way. So anyway, we're throwing a fit about the cleanliness part of it because as you guys saw in Monday's video, my mom has put up with nasty houses. She'd like to just move into a house that's clean, that she doesn't have to go and
Well,
scrape
not even
stuff
just
off
a
the
little
oven.
bit. This was pretty gooky stuff inside the cabinets. Was pretty rough.
There was spaghetti sauce in the
if
cabinets.
it was just normal, everyday little bit of stuff, it wouldn't be so bad. But this was pretty.
There was spaghetti sauce in the cabinets, and there was soy sauce and stuff spilled in the Lazy Susan, and the oven was black, and it wasn't a.
I'm not even sure that oven's gonna. I don't know what that oven's gonna do.
Yeah,
for
we may
sure.
have to replace the oven, but
So
we're waiting to see.
Yeah.
So anyway, okay. So what was our title again, dear? I forgot. This is the reason you're not saving money.
The biggest reason most people can't save money.
The biggest reason most people can't save money. All right. We got.
Get it together, people. Try to move that stuff off there before you slap the table.
Would you, Michael?
So we got this letter from Carrie in Ireland, and she sent us. She was so thoughtful. She sent us this cute little candles right here, cute little bookmarks right here, and this cute little
Isn't that cute?
notebook thing as a thank you with a letter.
Okay, let me say, Heidi's card and this letter,
Came on the same day, I think. Didn't
yeah, and they both really touched me. I mean, this was one of
This is probably the best letter we've ever
yeah
gotten.
that we've ever gotten, I think.
And we've gotten a lot
We've
of
got
good
some
ones.
good ones.
We've gotten a lot
We've
of good
got-
ones.
But this was so moving. This one was really, really
Yeah.
moving.
All right.
She's a
And-
gal that is trying all of our stuff.
Yeah, so she's been following our tips, but we're going to read you this letter because there are a lot of points, and this is exactly why you're not saving money. And I got a comment the other day, yesterday or something, on one of our videos from a couple of years ago, and they said, you need to update this video. This isn't valid for 2021. People aren't getting manicures and pedicures in this hard economic times right now. Oh my goodness. So how many hard economic times have we had in your life, Mother?
Oh, I can't even begin. I've just been one continual one up until about a year ago.
My goodness.
So
people.
I just,
But I mean, as society in a general, it's like every 5 to 10 years, we have hard economic times and all
what
this.
Tara's
So,
talking about is her attitude, kind of. It's like, well, you know, what can we do about this? This is so hard on us compared to this letter.
Yes.
Is what she's comparing it to.
so I'm going to have Mom read the letter and comment. Or do you want me to read it and you
Yeah.
comment? Okay. So put your hand up when you want me to stop and you make your comments.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Dear Tara, Mike, and Joe, I'm writing to you as I promised myself the day I purchased my house, I would give thanks to God for the blessing, then give thanks for you, then write and thank you. I started watching your YouTube a while back during a hospital stay when life got really hard. I won't be presumptuous and think you want my whole story, but just in case you ever get another viewer in the situation I wanted to share. I was misdiagnosed for 8 years, so when I was accurately or accurately diagnosed, my degenerative neurological illness was essentially terminal. On the day I was diagnosed, I was told not only I was dying, but as I had been misdiagnosed, my health insurance would need to complete an investigation before they would pay for any treatment. I was no longer able to work, and my business insurance was pulled, meaning I would not only have to pay more, but pay up front due to my neurological diagnosis. I was in the middle of buying a house, and my mortgage was pulled, as I can't have a mortgage when you are terminally ill. And due to a weird Irish law, I lost my deposit, which was tens of thousands of dollars.
Okay. Now that's getting pretty.
That's about as bad as it gets.
Yeah. Everything's covered there. The illness, the horrible illness. I mean, she was told she was dying. The job loss.
Insurance loss.
Losing her insurance.
Losing tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah. So it doesn't get a whole lot worse than this, guys. I want you to, think about that a little bit.
Yeah.
This goes beyond.
Even being homeless isn't this bad,
No.
I would say.
Yeah, because.
I would say even being homeless is not this bad.
Yeah.
So life got hard. Then I found your YouTube. Together with my other half, we prayed and decided that if God wanted us to follow your ideas, then he would make it super obvious to us. He did. He made my husband identify with Mike. I think this is something very often overlooked about your show, but Mike's vulnerability is so important to other men. I thank God for Mike's openness and honesty around his approach to spending, including past mistakes.
Oh.
We wrote
Thank you, Carrie and your husband.
We wrote a budget and have stuck to it. I am partially tube-fed and can still stick to your recipes, as not only are they cheap, but they are easy to make and gentle on my stomach. Oh, go ahead, Mom. I know you got something to say about that.
Okay, the first thing they did, they didn't panic. They did. Now they may have a little bit, but they prayed about
Yes.
it. That's the first thing they did. And then they started doing something constructive. Sometimes we'll pray about things and then we'll just sit back and wait for God to do something for us. But he expects us to do as much as what we can. So they made a budget and they did it together as a couple. They didn't fight over it. They worked together on this. Well, then she was talking about she's partially tube-fed and
Recipes are not only cheap, but they are easy to make and gentle on my stomach.
Okay, what I want to say about this, we have more people that say, well, your cookbook, well, I can't use your cookbook because I'm like
Vegan, diabetic, vegetarian, on keto, on paleo, gluten-free, carnivore.
can't eat nuts, milk, eggs, stuff like that.
The whole list.
You know, people, she's being tube fed, partially tube fed here, and yet she found the recipes easy and adaptable for even her awful situation. What the point is, she was adapting and working with what she had to work with. Don't just sit back and want other people to figure out for you what you need to do, and do all the research and all the thinking and all the figuring. How can I adapt this? How can I adapt this to what my diet needs are?
We get this all the time. Well, you're just trying to shirk people out of money. We have almost every single recipe for free on our website. Yet people are too lazy to go to the website and either just open up their computer and cook with them or print them out. And people won't even go to that much work just to go to the website to get it because they want to make the excuse, well, I can't buy your cookbook.
For the book, yeah. So the point is, she was working here to do this, even in spite of being really sick. It doesn't get a whole lot worse than this, really. I mean, it's pretty bad.
Ultimately, your guidance taught us to think outside the box. For instance, we knew that there may be an experimental treatment that God may provide, so we stayed positive. I am due to have the experimental brain surgery in the U.S. in January, and rather than to do a GoFundMe or beg for money, we are able to pay up front due to small changes we made following you guys. Here's the next thing. They didn't just go begging for money just because you can go begging for money. Now, there is a time and a place for GoFundMes. But I will tell you that probably 95% of the GoFundMes on there, if the people would just lead responsible lives with their money in the first place, they wouldn't need GoFundMes. They would have emergency funds set in place. They would have the life insurance paid up. They would have medical insurance paid because they were living frugally to begin with. And so I'm not totally anti-GoFundMe, but I will say that the majority of people, if they would just get their ducks in a row and stop wasting money, they would be able to pay for this
I have so
stuff.
much respect
for
them.
For just doing that.
Their integrity and their sense of responsibility is just off the charts.
Yeah.
You don't see that anymore. And I think that's part of why this was so encouraging to me, that there's so many people. We get more people that don't want to even try or bother. And to think that there's still people in the world that have this sense of integrity. And a lot a lot of our viewers are. I don't want to, say,
not everybody, but
but
we get a lot of
we get a lot
whiners.
of really,
We get a lot of
but
whiners.
we're lucky in that a lot of our viewers have the same, type attitude.
We did some extreme things, such as I had an obsession with candles. So we both agreed that as we don't have any pets or children, we would not turn any lights on in the evening until we had run out of candles. We switched to a night rate for electric and only washed clothes at night, sold the tumbler dryer, and charged all electronics at night. We cut our electric bill down by 93%. Holy moly.
Can you believe that? Now, when she says they were thinking out of the box, that's what they were doing.
That's amazing.
Look around and see, what can we do to fix our situation? Where can we save the most? I think this was just ingenious. I just can't.
Yeah.
That was just unbelievable. How many of you would use candles to save on your electricity? But that's how you think when you have the integrity and sense of responsibility.
We stopped buying anything outside the house without checking to see if we had an alternative. We decided to minimize. Go ahead.
Well, what she's saying here is, if they needed something, they didn't just go out and buy it immediately. They'd look around the house and say, can we make do with another item?
If I ran out of napkins, do I have paper towels? If I ran out of paper towels, could I use cloth? Could I use a wash rag instead? Could I use a towel instead?
Exactly. If I can't buy makeup wipes, so many people are buying makeup wipes. Can I just use a wash rag? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
You start looking around for things so you don't have to buy.
Yeah. We decided to minimize our heating, and my neurologist actually thinks I'm healthier for living in a slightly cooler house. I stopped buying cleaning products, instead just used Jill's idea of hot soapy water. We just use soap and water for 95% of our cleaning. I'll use a disinfectant for the bathrooms, but I don't use any. I have never used a spray in the kitchen for anything.
Oh, I watch some cleaning things on YouTube, and they'll have 4 to 5 products to clean their kitchen. They have a window cleaner to clean the front of their stove.
Yep.
They have a countertop thing to do the countertop. Then they have another thing for the sink, and another thing for the stainless steel. You know, you don't need that hot soapy water. Now, if we use chicken or something like that, we'll put a little bit of Clorox in to disinfect in the soapy water. But you don't need all those things.
We need to make our bathroom.
Sorry, go ahead.
You okay?
Yeah.
You don't have that thing going around, do you?
No, I don't have the thing. I don't.
We
You're in
needed,
trouble anyway, even if I did.
we needed to make our bathroom accessible for me now that I am disabled. But rather than spend a lot of money, we purchased a basic handle for the tap and moved our shower door to go the other way around. And it works better for me than any other solution out there. Yes, it would look slightly funny if someone came into my house to see. But I look at it this way. If you're using my bathroom, you can either pee or be grateful or judge and get out. I've really toughened up.
She's got a good, healthy attitude.
That's
for
part
sure.
of it. Is people need to toughen up.
Yeah.
It's like, my word, what is wrong with you people? Yeah. Today, my meme of the day on living on a dime was something like, I can tell you, or y'all have never had to push start your car to get it going, and it shows. And I thought, that's the truth, though. Nobody has to do anything anymore. How many people do you see pushing their cars nowadays because they just call the tow company and put it on credit card?
The first year we were married, we had a VW Bug. And every morning I had to go out in my pajamas and push the car with my husband so he could jump start the car to get it going.
Yep.
We wouldn't think of going out and buying a new car, you know, or going to buy a new car.
The same Bug, I had to scrape off the ice on the inside while I was driving because it didn't defrost and my breath kept freezing on the window. So anyway, your advice about only having 8 to 10 recipes and just rotating saved me. Not only does it save money, but it means I have retained a lot of independence because I'm confident in the recipe, don't have the stress about them, and we keep all ingredients on hand so I can know I can open anything.
She simplified things for herself. We keep saying you just need the 10 meals. Everybody says, you know, they have trouble with meal planning. Just get 10 basic meals. You only serve those 10 meals 3 times a month. If you think of it that way, your family's not going to get bored having the same meal 3 times a month. And so when you're ill like this, like if we have the chronic fatigue syndrome or the fibromyalgia, something like that, you have got to get things down as simple in stuff like this as you can and get habits and keep doing the same stuff over and over again because it's way less stressful on you and you'll feel better.
Even though I loved my job before, I accepted that I needed to change what I was doing and got it together, as you would say. This means that even though I could have become very depressed about my situation, I looked at God's blessings and not only surviving, but thriving in the place he has me currently. Because of all the changes, we are able to pay cash for our little bungalow. We have paid for my surgery, and we're about to buy himself an electric bike for commuting, which is a bit of a luxury, but one we can afford and will save him time ultimately. I get very frustrated when I see some of the comments people leave you, and honestly, I don't know how you keep your cool. I don't. I am what most people would consider very disabled. I struggle to hold things. I can't hold a pen or type anymore. I switched to text-to-text technology, and I struggle to walk very well. But I am happy as a married couple, and we are happy because we don't have the stress of money hanging over our head. By refusing to be a slave to debt, we get to live in peace that God intended. So when I see people asking crazy questions about how to afford an expensive car or saying they don't want to eat simple food, I just don't have time for it. So God bless you both for your patience. Life is too precious.
Say that part again.
God bless you both for your patience. Life is too precious to be wasted on paying off a car payment.
Oh,
amen, sister.
That.
Life is too precious to be wasting paying a car payment. Anyway, thank you so much for being you, for following God's path to your lives and sharing all your knowledge. I still regularly watch you. when I'm in the hospital and at home, and simply wanted to say thank you. I will always be grateful to you and glad that God brought you into my life and helping me tighten my budget. Okay. Kind regards, Carrie. I kind of skipped a few things just because it wasn't relevant to what we were saying. But Carrie, thank you for that. I mean, really, it's very encouraging because we get so tired of people whining all the time. And I mean, it never stops, and it's just getting worse. And it's so refreshing seeing someone who literally is in the worst circumstances you could be. I mean, I can't think of any worse circumstances, and yet you're still going ahead and you're still trying.
And you know what? How many of you are whining about, well, these hard economic times, and your attitude affects everybody around you? Look what her attitude. Look what how her attitude has affected us. And I hope some of you guys. Now, do you want to be one of these whiners about how hard life is for you right now and how afraid you are and how worried you are? I mean,
and the problem is people have let fear completely consume their lives. They have let fear just completely consume them. Mm-hmm. If 2020 and 2021 has not proven that beyond a shadow of a doubt, I don't know what has. And it's gotten to the point where it's not even rational anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, just the things that are being mandated and that kind of thing, that's not even rational. And yet people are just caving into it. And here's the thing. You don't have to give into it.
No. What happens is everybody's reacting with their emotions. And look at do you see how practical she was through all of this? I mean, we couldn't figure out this, so we did that. We couldn't figure out this. It was practical, logical, clear thinking. When your emotions, when you're reacting to everything in your life with emotions, with fear, with anxiety, with worry, it just builds like a big snowball. And you can't think logical. So you can't do any of this stuff if you're having fear and anxiety and worry and stuff like that. You just can't. And you've got to break that cycle and just buck up and stand up and say, you know what? I can change this myself. I can fix this. What can I do? And do everything you can. And then the rest of it, say, dear God, I've done the best that I can. I need your help in this. But at least stand up and start trying to do something.
Well, and, it's like we are making a good income now, but because we have our mortgage again, I'm not going out buying new furniture for the new house. I'm hitting garage sales. An hour before the show, Mom and I ran over to somebody's house who was just cleaning out her garage, and she put it on Facebook and said, I'm cleaning out my garage, make an offer. And I got 2 office chairs for $5 each. But we had to take the time to spend the half an hour driving over there and back to get the chairs to save the money.
Mm-hmm.
But how many people just go to Walmart and just go to Office Depot or Costco and just go get that new office chair for $50 or $100?
And just charge it.
And then they say, well, I can't pay my bills. You can't pay your bills because you're spending more money than you earn, so stop it. Seriously, stop it. This is not rocket science. You don't have to go to college to do this. You don't even have to go above the 3rd grade to figure this out. If you can't figure out by the 3rd grade, I'm spending more money than I earn, and so then I have no money. My kids learned this in the 3rd grade, didn't you?
Pretty much.
And they learned if they didn't have the money to pay for the extra stuff they wanted, they had to wait until they earned the money.
And do something to earn the money if they were really desperate.
Or we might go garage selling and they happen to find what they wanted at a garage sale for the money they did have. This is why you are not getting out of debt and why you are living paycheck to paycheck and why you never have any money.
And you know what? They have alleviated stress in their lives, and that helps you health-wise.
Yeah.
I don't care what I've had doctor after doctor, heart surgeons, famous heart surgeons say stress is the biggest thing that causes heart disease. Not healthy eating that doesn't prevent it, and anything like that. It's the stress that you put on yourself and in your life.
No, but that's why you don't have any money.
Yeah. And just like she said, they had to turn the heat down.
Oh, heaven forbid.
I know.
We don't have the air conditioner
They had
set
to
at
turn the heat
63
down,
and
and the
the heater
doctor
turned
said
at
it was
80.
helping her. You guys don't realize this stuff could help you physically even.
Yeah.
Getting up and moving and starting to do some of this stuff, even though if you're feeling awful, you've got to keep your body going as much as possible. Now, there are some days I don't feel like getting out of bed. I really don't, because I get so sick. But then I make myself do one little movement of some sort to get the motion going. You've got to try to do this stuff and do it like that. So,
All right, dear, bring on the comments.
are we ready?
Well, and here's the thing. Okay, wait a minute. I got
Wait
one
on
more
the
thing.
comments, Michael.
I happened to see a thing by Dave Ramsey yesterday, and something to the effect of, this is making everybody angry or something. And he posted on Facebook and Instagram, he said, we did a study of, I think it was 10,000 millionaires. And so we posted the top jobs, the top 5 jobs that were for people with millionaires. And it was engineers. I think this is what it was. The one is that I'm really getting to, but I think it was engineer, lawyer, an accountant, and I can't remember what the other one was, but this is the one that got me big. And teachers. How many teachers? I'm sorry.
We do love you, teachers, because you do.
But teachers can be some of the whiniest people when it comes to money. And they are in the top five of millionaires is teachers at an average of $60,000 a year. Why? Because they saved their money and they invested their money so that they would have money later. Right now, you don't have to have an expensive job. You don't have to have.
It's not just teachers. If you have
big
any
inheritance.
job that's like $60,000 a year, I didn't even have that much. Of course, I'm not a millionaire, but I still, for what I made,
Yeah,
saved
you've
a lot.
done very well for the $750 you've lived on for most of your
Yeah,
life.
I didn't do too bad,
And the whole point is people get these ideas in their head. Well, it's just not possible.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a teacher, so I just can't do it because I don't get enough money. And yet I see these teachers at Starbucks. They're coming into the school with their lattes. They're coming into school with their pastries. I see them in the drive-thru. And that's fine. If that's how you want to spend your money, that's fine. But then don't go and whine about how you're not paid enough and how you're so overworked and you're not paid enough and you have to do these things because you're just too stressed out.
But the thing is, a lot of different
That's a lot of people.
jobs are hollering about they're not paid enough, and
so, the thing is, you either want to get out of debt and start having a good stress-free life as far as finances are concerned, or you don't. It's your choice.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to make the choice if you're going to do that or not. So anyway.
And this was a perfect example. They made the choice. That's what they were going to do. And then they started taking one step at a time. Like they did the budget, they did the candles. They just one step at a time, they kept doing stuff. And that's what it takes. It's just the whole mindset.
All right, dear. Now, after you're done deleting all the people that are yelling at me, go ahead and...
I don't see a lot of yelling at you.
Oh,
But a lot of people talking about turning off the news to be stress-free.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, stop watching the news. I guarantee you this whole thing that went around in 2020 and 2021 would not have been a big deal at all if it wasn't for the news. I guarantee it.
Well, you know what causes you to have fear. You know it the minute you sit down and you start thinking about and start getting afraid and start worrying. You know what causes it.
Yep.
It's in your power to stop watching that, to stop reading that, to stop going to these places that cause, those things. that
Stop
you should-
talking to people that are.
Yeah. Don't have those people in your life that talk about this all the time. Or if you do, limit how much you.
We have family members that in our lives, we have had to say, nope, we're not doing this anymore because we're not going to sit there and listen to their toxic spewing every time. So we would limit how often we would visit them or see them.
So you have control of this.
Yeah.
And part of fear is you feel like your life's out of control, that what's
Yeah.
happening to you is out of your control. But you have more control than you think. And one thing, God has total control of your life if you're a Christian. So there should be, you should have that fear, work getting that fear under control real well. But you need to start the same way with saving the money. You take steps to start doing that to get over the worries and the anxiety and the fear and that type of thing.
So we have a question.
We have a
Can you
question.
summarize what is the one thing? I know you've given.
Can
a
you
lot of
summarize
examples,
what the one thing is? You have to make a choice if you're going to get out of debt and save money or not.
Well,
And to summarize it, people are choosing not to do it, frankly, just because they don't want to. They want the lattes, they want the cars, they want the manicures, or even if they're not doing that, they want the pre-cut up food at the store, whatever it is, but they're making the choice to spend their money on things they really don't need instead of saving it.
Things they want,
Yeah.
not what they need.
well, and I think, what was it that I think what Tara was saying is, and Jill both, I think what Tara and Jill both were saying is that people immediately respond to a suggestion with, oh, I can't do that because. And so what that means is you don't want to be out of your
It's an
situation.
excuse.
You want to have a reason
not to do
to
it.
not have to deal with the situation.
Yeah.
There are so many things where people say, well, I can't help it because something is out of my control. Well, the thing is that spending is not out of your control, out of anybody's control.
A big one, here's a big example. When we say you should never, ever, ever have a car payment, ever, period, no exceptions, you should not have a car payment, period. Every single time we say that, we get somebody that says, oh, well, I have to because I have to have reliable transportation for my work. Let me tell you, Mike, Mom, me, all of us have worked. We have never once not made it to work because our car broke down that it caused us to get fired from our job.
If you're a good worker, you show up on time, you work hard, and you happen to miss one day getting in late because your car broke down, you think your boss is going to fire you.
And nowadays, there's Uber, there's Lyft. A lot of cities have buses and cabs. You have friends, you have family. You could walk, you could ride a bike. Everybody has excuse after excuse. Well, I'm a single mom, so I have to have reliable transportation. Mom was a single mom for 15 years. At one point, her car only turned left. Her car would only turn left or right, whichever way it was. It would only turn one direction. So whenever she went anywhere, she had to make sure that she turned in a circle to get home.
I didn't have a driver's window either at that time, so it was kind of hard going to the grocery store and getting in and dragging the groceries across the seat with you and everything.
Now, was that legal? Yeah, back then it was. Now it's probably not. But she may do anyway. And the problem is people just don't want to do it. And that's what it boils down to.
Mm-hmm. You'd rather come up with all the excuses. If you worked as hard at doing this as you do working hard to come up with excuses,
You would have the
you would
money to
get out
pay
of there.
cash.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Why do people always have the money to pay $200 to $500 a month for a car payment, but they never have the $200 to $500 a month to save so they can pay cash for that car in 3 to 4 years?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe your car is just too expensive. Stop buying a new car and get a $3,000 clunker to get you around until you can save more money.
And as far as the breaking down, I've had a couple of tow guys. I've asked them specifically because I had old clunkers, and I said, you probably have to haul it in these old clunkers all the time. He said, no. They said that like 95% of the cars they tow are brand new cars. So the new cars break down too. They get flat tires, the batteries go dead, all kinds of things go wrong with the new car too. So it's no guarantee.
Wow.
All right. Wow.
Julie says it.
Julie says it.
It's not easy to admit your actions cause you to be in the financial situation you are in, but by taking the first step and owning your decision and taking steps to correct it, you can find peace.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well said,
You've got to
Julie. Well
admit
said.
that your decisions are causing your financial problems, period.
But
You
even
stop
if
playing
you,
the blame game.
even if you have a bad situation in terms of your income and something happens and bad things happen to you, you still can choose what to do with what you're given.
Yeah. You can
Mhm.
choose to turn it around if you want.
Yeah.
All right. Next year.
Hold on a second. Sorry, I'm doing something else at the moment.
Okay. Stop doing something else. Sorry. You know, we have to have deletion happening, I'm sure. I see that look.
Just a troll. Okay, so let's see.
Troll patrol.
Just a lot of people talking about cars. I'm not sure if she's being sarcastic or she's being serious, but somebody says we have to have a car payment. We have bad credit.
We have to have a car payment. We have bad credit. No, you don't. You can save money. You can save your cash. If you can afford a car payment, you can afford to save the money in cash. Seriously, buy a $3,000 car, drive it for 2 to 4 years until you save the cash. If you can afford $200 to $500 a month for a car payment, you can afford that $200 to $500 a month to save up and pay cash for your car.
Hmm.
And if you can't, then you need to get a second job, save that money up until, and really, seriously, a second job, it would take you 6 months to save up to pay cash for a car. And that's like a $10,000 or $15,000 car. It would take you like 2 months, 3 months to save up for a $3,000 car.
See, what's happened is you've been trained and taught now with credit cards and that type of thing to do it backwards. It used to be you would save up to buy things and you would do without it until you could buy it. Now it's you buy it right now and you're stressed out and you pay it,
Yep.
before you have the money for it. And that's what causes the stress in everybody's life because you're constantly never getting anything paid off.
Yeah.
And you've got to keep working. And people
And you're never
now-
ahead because you're always behind. Oh, that's brilliant.
Oh my goodness.
My new apron.
Oh
You're
my-
never ahead because you're always behind.
That's
That
good.
just came out of my head just now. That was
But you
inspiration.
know, that is the truth. That's what happens. You just got yourself so behind. And so you can't.
And it's your own darn tune fault.
Yeah, you keep buying and you keep buying.
Why do you have bad credit?
I-
Because it's your own fault.
People-
Now you can't be judging people.
I am judging you.
because they're-
I am judging you. Why do you have bad credit? It's your own darn tootin' fault.
Well, and now things are happening. People say, oh, I'm losing my job or this is happening. My husband's ill, I'm ill, something like that. And it's not that we don't feel bad about that, but we started hollering about this 20 years ago, saying you need to stop, you need to get out of debt, you need to get your house paid off because in case you do lose your job or one of you lose your job or one of you gets sick, it won't be the stress. You'll have one income still in some cases, or you'll at least have a savings to live off of. But now, voila, the crisis has come and now everybody's in a big panic. And it's really hard for me to sympathize a whole lot when we've been saying this for years and years. You've got to stop buying these cars and having a car payment. You've got to stop going on
Eating out.
vacations and eating out and, not working hard at getting your mortgage
A
paid.
vacation is not a right. I'm sorry. I don't care how hard you work all year long. A vacation is not a right.
Yeah. A
So
vacation
if you
is
can't pay cash
okay.
for it, then
You take a vacation after you've worked really hard and got your debts paid and got everything you need. Then you can take a vacation when you can afford
Yeah.
it. But don't take it before you can afford it.
Naomi says people are operating at such a high debt level that they don't even know what it's like to have no debt and the freedom that it brings.
yeah.
No, and I want you guys to pop on there and make comments that are debt free and let them know what a difference it makes. You cannot understand. I wish we had some kind of something to show people the
It's
feeling.
it's very freeing.
It's a feeling like you can't even explain to be totally out of debt and to have a little bit of savings tucked away. I mean, if you think about it, if you have your mortgage, just say you pay $2,000 a month mortgage. If you have your mortgage paid off, every month you're going to have $2,000 just to do something with, just to go on a vacation, just to buy what you want. You
There's
know?
almost $25,000 a year that you can use to invest.
Can you imagine just having $25,000 of cash that you could just do what you
Yep.
wanted with?
Yep.
So it makes a big difference in your emotions and your stress.
Jack and I should be going.
Oh, are you guys going tonight?
You want my,
Oh, I didn't know he wanted to go. Okay.
you want to keep my computer?
Yeah, hand me mine real quick. Are there more questions then?
I mean, there's just people talking. You might want to keep going. I don't know.
I see. Okay, so let me get up here real quick, and then, so the main point, guys, is, sorry. The main point is you have got to stop making excuses for why you can't
It doesn't look right. That's a
pay
vacuum.
cash for things, why you can't pay cash for your medical bills. And I'm sorry, but I am going to put medical bills right in there because Mike and I have spent probably close to $50,000 on medical bills. And it's just a part of life. I mean, medical care is not a right. I'm sorry, it's not. And
This is what you work for, is to pay for life's basic necessities, not to buy all your wants first. We
Mhm.
have it backwards. That's great to be able to buy the wants if you've got everything else paid for, but we've got it backwards. We buy all of our wants, and then if we have enough, then we take and think, oh dear, how now am I going to pay for my necessities? You know, I don't have money to pay for my utilities. Well, that's because you went out to eat, or that's because you go to Starbucks, or, you know, you
Yep.
bought that designer purse or something, you know.
yeah. Wow, Karen paid off $30,000 in 32 months. You go, girl.
Way to go. Now see, perfect
She said it's
example.
heaven on earth. The most effective thing was not going out to eat. You do not know how much money you're spending going out to eat. We had one person just for lunch, only lunch. Her and her husband decided to keep the receipts for a year because they didn't believe us when we said the number one cause of debt is going out to eat. This was like 15 years ago when we wrote that article. And she's like, oh, I didn't believe you guys. So we decided to keep our receipts for a year. $22,000 eating out only for lunch.
Mhm.
She said, I wanted to cry. Do you know how many months she had to work to pay for that?
She could have bought a car for that. You know, you could buy
With
a car
cash.
for that with cash.
Yeah. I mean,
That's why you can't buy a car,
Mm-mm.
because that's where your money's going.
my husband and I are going to retire early at 54 because we are debt free and have savings.
Way to go. And it feels good, doesn't
That's
it?
great.
Do you know how good that would feel? You could retire
That
at
is great.
54. Mm-hmm.
Dragonfly, we paid off $122,000. $648 in 4 years, 8 months, and 28 days on $55,000 a year.
Oh my word.
Don't tell me you can't do it. She just did it right there. Oh my goodness.
word.
That is wonderful.
See, it is. We get
Yeah.
more people telling us these
Mhm.
stories. I wish you guys could be
Yeah.
on the other end hearing all of these all the time.
Wow.
That
99
That's good.
Zane says, I haven't turned my TV on in 6 years. We canceled cable 6 years ago. We do internet only. It costs a quarter what we used to. Yep.
mhm.
Very
Yeah.
good. Just for their
That's
internet.
that's the way you start out. That's
We
what you
haven't
do.
had cable until Mom moved in for, let's see, Dave. I remember when it happened. Dave was about 4 years old, 4
All
or
right.
5 years old. And he would get up in the middle of the night and watch Priscilla's yoga.
Oh, that's right. You watch Priscilla's yoga.
because we didn't have cable.
He
But-
loved Priscilla's yoga.
But right before that, he was watching Priscilla's yoga because we didn't have cable. Because right before that, who was it? Oh, I remember BJ and Ellie were watching Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. and a commercial came on for a strip club. Mike and I about flipped our lid. I
Call the
mean,
station manager
we
like,
called
right then.
we called the manager and we said, we are not watching your show anymore. And we cut the cable the next day, and that was it. We didn't have it ever since then. And I'm like, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm not putting up with that baloney. And so, and it's actually really nice, you know. Let's see. That's something we did get rid of. A friend of hers paid off $100,000 in 20 months. Wow. But see, here's the thing. There are a lot of people who are earning over $100,000 a year, and they have less, what's it called, dear? Oh, shoot. What's it called? Assets.
Mhm.
They are worth less than mom, who's been living on $750 a month her entire life, because they have so much debt that they are actually in the negative for everything, and they don't have any assets at all. Goodbye. Have fun.
Bye.
They don't have any assets. Are you staying, Mike, for the men's thing?
I'll find something to do. Yeah.
They have less assets than mom, who's lived on $750 a month most of her life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't know. It's, yeah. Anyway, every time I'm in a slump, your channel pops up and brings me hope and a kick in the I need. Thank you. Aw, thanks.
Aw.
Let's see. Wendy says, I paid off my house 2 years ago. It was a $92,000 home. I took 11 and a half years. Very good.
Yeah.
She paid off in 11 and a half years instead of 30. Good job.
Mhm.
Very nice not having a house payment.
Makes a difference not having that house payment.
Yep. That is great. Joni, hello, you three. Longtime listener, first time commenter. How do you forgive yourself for years of wasteful spending and lifelong debt? We are on the right path now, finally learned our lesson. Move on.
You just look ahead.
Yeah.
Don't, what was it? A preacher said something about stop looking in the rearview mirror. You don't drive looking in the rearview mirror. You drive looking forward, and that's how you stay on track and keep going.
And let me tell you, if God can forgive you, you can forgive yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, seriously.
I think it's amazing that even in
turned it
spite of that,
around.
yeah, you've turned it around. A lot of people never get it turned around. And to me, it's harder to turn something around like
Yeah.
that you've been in for a long time. That takes a lot more
gumption, yeah,
courage
whatever.
or something like that
Yeah.
to do that. So no, you be proud of yourself and you keep going, and
That's
don't
just
forget.
Satan trying to keep you down.
Yeah.
That is not from, you need to remember that. That is not from God. That is from
Yeah,
Satan. Guilt and condemnation when you're doing something right is not from God. It's from Satan.
yeah.
Guilt and condemnation when you're doing something wrong is from God.
Or conviction. It's more like a conviction.
You know,
Condemnation is from Satan, and conviction is from
yeah,
God.
conviction, I guess, is actually
Yeah.
the word I was looking for. But
So no, you just
Yeah.
just keep going forward, and that's great that you're doing that. So
yeah. Paula said, can't eat out here. They don't allow the unvexed in restaurants anymore. Well, then you know what? This is your time to save money and not worry about it.
Mhm.
You know, I really wouldn't worry about it. That's unfortunate and it's ridiculous, but you know. Patricia, what did your hubby do for work before YouTube channel? He was a TV producer and editor. He worked for PES and the university. Okay, let's see. Kimberly Nash. We love you, Kimberly. You're always so faithful. I worked my way through college, never got to go on spring break, never got extras, had a paid off car, had an apartment, full-time job, 2 part-time jobs, and I went through school full-time. It was rough, but I got through. Yeah. All these kids whining about how they can't pay for college now is a bunch of baloney.
Well, look at these testimonies of people that have done it.
Yeah.
You know, that have done it.
Yep. I mean, it's ridiculous. Then she says, I bought a dresser 2 weeks ago for the first time in my adult life. I paid $50 for it at a garage sale.
Sounds like a gal after
Yeah.
my own heart, for sure.
Beth did the same thing. No student loans. She worked full-time, went to school full-time, and she made it through. Yeah.
Yeah. See, look at these examples.
I get so tired of kids whining nowadays. Well, I can't do it. I'm sorry. Until about 15 years ago, people actually worked while they were going to college, and they made it through. And college is no harder now than it was 100 years ago, 50 years ago.
You know, it's funny
just are
because
making
everybody
excuses.
says how stressful it is nowadays for kids, but yet, like, I remember in the 60s, everybody talking about how stressful it was for kids in the 60s, you know, when they were doing all the riots in Los Angeles and the hippies and the drugs and all that. So it's, you know, there's just excuses all the time through life.
Debbie, thank you for your advice on saving money. I lowered my mortgage and got my ex-husband off my mortgage. That's a big help.
Very good
job. Deborah, what do you do to keep your cell phone bill low? Don't get all the extras. We don't buy apps. We don't buy anything. We just keep the basic on there. We don't have iPhones, although I will admit, well, Mom has an iPhone, but she got it for free. But I will admit that today we were messing around with Mom's iPhone to see if it would be a better camera actually for my videos. So in that situation, I might get an iPhone, but 99% of the people that have iPhones don't actually need them for business. They just get them because they're the coolest new
I was
thing.
going to say, I didn't have one till just, not even a year, about a year ago or less. I just had a little flip phone, or you could buy a little cheap burner phone if you're not using it for business or something.
But our son had a buy one, get one free thing, and she needed a new phone. So we were like, okay, well, we'll go ahead and do that. So let's see. Kathleen says she's a proud mom who is so happy her adult son shops at the thrift stores. I know. Isn't that the best feeling?
To have your kids actually practice what you preach.
Yeah. All right. I worked full time and went to school and paid my own way. Good job, Sherry.
Wow.
Yeah.
See?
I mean, you
One
can
after
do
another.
it. Man, we have person after person who says that they did that. Like, why is my nose itching so bad? I tried that new lotion. We got it for the sample at that fair. It must have got on my nose because I'm like, I'm allergic to some fragrances. I see the time, Dave. I know. I know.
I'm just saying.
Okay. Let's see. Anything else? Common sense says your front window is bigger than your back window because your future is bigger than your past.
That's a good one. It's really good.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. All right, guys. livingonadime.com. Don't forget to check out all of our cookbooks. 35% off right now. They should be here approximately sometime between October 15th and October 25th. We are having shipping issues. I'm so sorry for the delay. If you already pre-ordered, they will be shipping around, we'll say October 25th, just because now apparently there's a trucker strike or something. So who knows what'll happen. But pre-order, 35% off, livingonadime.com. We will not see you guys next week, but we will see you the week after that.
Be sure to pray for Carrie and her husband and a lot of the other people who put our viewers who do prayer requests. We pray for you guys, you know, and pray for each other. It makes a difference. It really does. Yeah. I don't think you realize how much difference
it does.
Makes.
And thank you, Carrie, for sharing this encouragement. We really appreciate it.
So thank you.
Have a good night, guys. We'll see you guys later.
Guys.
livingonadime.com.
Bye.